Today's episode of the Fan Feed Network podcast is brought to you by Bonnier Jewelry. Week 14 is underway and about halfway through. We've had a lot of excitement already through this week, a lot of upsets, a lot of divisions kind of being settled. We are here today to cover all the action that's already happened and preview the action that's going to happen both tonight and tomorrow night. I got Jose, Mr. Jose Chavez in the house tonight. What's up, Jose?
Hey, what's up, Cam? How you doing, man?
Good, man. You got the Broncos game pulled up while we're doing this or no?
You know what? My TV just went out, but I feel good about it. Game's over.
Yeah. Yeah. What's his current score right now?
I think 24-7. And Geno Smith
looking
is
pretty
out.
good.
Kenny Pickett at quarterback for the Raiders. So.
Oh yeah, you're good.
You know Kenny Pickett pretty well, right?
I know him pretty well. Yeah, I really thought it was going to be Aiden O'Connell that would come in for the Raiders, and he's not good, but he is probably better than Pickett in my estimation. I did see Pickett get subbed in and immediately threw a ball, like skied it over Brock Bowers' head. And like, while I appreciate the knowledge to like just throw it to your best player,
right?
You gotta put it somewhere where he can catch it.
Yeah, make it somewhat catchable. And with a guy like that, it should be pretty easy. I mean,
oh, absolutely.
Dude, I'm a flag football quarterback, so like sometimes I see some stuff like that. And I'm like, I could have made that throw.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that whole like thing about do you think you could run 10 yards in a NFL football game, or do you think you could complete an NFL pass? And honestly, I feel like I could complete a pass. I'm just gonna be honest. Put me in shotgun, honestly, 5 wide.
Just to give him some credit, he is behind the Raiders offensive line, which is garbage. So
probably about as good as your flag football team's O-line.
Exactly.
Yeah. We got TDB in the house 2023. What's up, Cam and Jose? What is up? What is up? Yeah. So like I said at the top, we're going to go through all the games just like we normally do. Caleb is out today. If you don't know, it's snowing on the East Coast. It snowed on Thursday night into Friday, and now it's going to snow again tomorrow. So he works and does a bunch of clearing of the roads and stuff, making some extra bread. So good for him. We'll miss him tonight. We also got Derpy up in here. He says Lamar who, and I say the same thing. Oh my gosh. We're going to get into this, but like, let me ask you that, Jose, before we really dive into everything. Is Lamar just bad? Like, what do you think is going on with Lamar?
It's the injuries, man. I mean, he's been dealing with all these little nagging injuries, like small ankle things, back things, neck things, shoulder, wrist, finger, whatever else that he's dealing with on a consistent basis. He's just not healthy. And you can tell just like he has no explosiveness in his game right now. And what that offense is relying on that because he has no other weapons to rely on outside of Henry. So
yeah, it's that's kind of how I feel, because it was a hamstring injury initially that's held him out for a long time. And those hamstring injuries, I don't think people will understand like how frustrating of an injury that is, especially for someone who has to be twitchy, like fast movements, a lot of cuts, a lot of burst and agility. And that is a big problem for Lamar. I remember when a bunch of people, a bunch of Ravens fans early on were saying like Lamar's quitting the team. He's not playing. He could play, but he doesn't want to. He's quitting the team. And I just think that was a bad look. I think he is injured. But the other thing that I've been reading, with the on like Ravens Twitter, is that the offensive line play has just been so bad, especially in the interior. And that's what a lot of people are starting to accredit it to, is that the interior O-line is just letting so much pressure in, and Lamar's doesn't have time to make any reads.
You know what that reminds me of though is the Seattle Seahawks when they had Russell Wilson back in the day, when that dude was taking like 40 sacks a year, just a crazy amount of sacks. And in my opinion, especially like after having Sean Payton as the Broncos coach, that's totally a QB stat. Sacks are a QB stat. So
100%.
I mean, the way that he plays his game doesn't give the offensive line a good setup to protect him because they don't know where he's going to be. So even if they're making a good pocket for him and he's outside the pocket, like he's running into the rush a lot of the time. So
yeah, he did run one in today, but it was still doesn't look great. Derpy says, he's overrated, doesn't have a clutch gene, and I'm tired of the glazing. And I think that's hilarious. I'm there.
I wonder if we'd be talking about this game or Lamar any differently if they counted that likely touchdown. Because I thought that was a touchdown. I don't know what's up with the interpretation of that rule. That's a touchdown, man.
So let's just start it out. Let's just go through this game because obviously this was a big game. A lot of implications for this game for the playoffs. Both teams were tied at 6-6 coming in at the top of the division. Steelers pull it out 27-22. Let's talk about that likely touchdown or not touchdown. So the rule, I don't understand the rule, and I don't understand why it would change. Like if he were running out of bounds, see that I just don't understand the catch rule because they change it so much and it's so different for different things. But like typically, if you catch the ball 2 feet in bounds and were to take one more step out of bounds and then drop the ball, most of the time that's going to be a catch. But there are times when they say you have to complete the catch cycle. And obviously Steelers have been ruined by this because Jesse James caught it against the Patriots. They should have won that game because he catches the ball, he makes a football move, dives, and the ball hits the ground and moves a little bit under his hand. And they said that the ground helped him catch the ball. He didn't complete the process of the catch. I don't know. Jose, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, the completing the process of the catch is kind of the term that I get caught up on. Because if you got 2 feet down and you're, have complete control of the ball and you're across the line to gain or cross the goal line, in my opinion, that should be a touchdown, regardless of what, the semantics of the rule are. Should have tied up the game, or would that have given them the lead right there?
That touchdown would have given them the lead. I think it was 27-22 at that point.
But that just like brings up a bigger question about the NFL in general. Is just the officiating across the board has been so spotty, like from game to game. Even when I'm watching the Broncos play and I see like a call that goes for my team, I'm like, ooh, yeah, I don't know if that's good or not.
Did you just see that? I don't know if you have the games.
Yeah, I just turned it back on.
Kenny Pickett just threw that touchdown. Yeah, that was a crazy throw. Nice.
Your
boy. Well done, Kenny Pickett. Hey, maybe he'll resurrect his career in Las Vegas. I would not be upset about that.
Lead to 10. Okay.
There you go. I did see somebody on Twitter the other day. There's an account that posts like highlights for people. And he was like, give me ideas of like highlight videos you'd like to see. And somebody was like, show me the most, or the prompt was the clutchest Titans moments of all time. And this guy posted a video and it was last year when Mason Rudolph threw a touchdown with like 10 seconds left to cut the lead down to 10.
Nice.
I thought it was so funny.
Yeah, have you ever seen that old Simpsons clip with Homer Simpson where he's playing quarterback for the Denver Broncos? It's the same thing. It's like a throwback to that Super Bowl against San Francisco back in the day where they got blown out.
Yeah.
And it's like Homer rushes in for a touchdown. Same joke. Cuts the lead down. 52 or whatever.
45. Yeah.
45-7.
That's hilarious. So real quick, TDB did say sacks are 100% a quarterback stat. And yeah, to anybody watching and not understanding what we mean by that, a lot of times you think that when a quarterback gets sacked, it's due to a failure in the offensive line. But Jose brought up a great example, and I'll bring up another example, and they both played for the same team. It's the Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson, and also Geno Smith. Both of these guys are guys that hold on to the ball just way too long, and when they roll out or get flushed out of the pocket, they refuse to throw the ball away, and they just take sacks. And so sacks are 100% a quarterback stat because it means that the quarterback is not reading the defense fast enough to get the ball out of his hands. And it's not hard to throw the ball away. There are certain circumstances where it is, but in general, it's not hard to have that in your mind to say, I'm just going to roll out to the right and try to throw this ball away.
Well, and then you got to think about, the quarterback is also in charge of, calling the protections, adjusting the play to, whatever the defense is showing. So different things like that are also on the quarterback too. So, protection in general, obviously besides like completely just, missed assignments on the offensive line, usually comes down to the quarterback making a mistake there.
Absolutely. So, all right, let's keep talking about the Steelers-Ravens game. So we talked about the likely catch. I don't know what your judgment would be on that. I don't know what to say. Like, honestly, I thought it was a touchdown, and I was just ready for the Steelers to try to like run a drive and utterly fail, and then we lose. but we got saved by the refs on that one. I don't know. What do you think it was a catch, or do you think it's not a
No, I,
catch?
I definitely think it was a catch. But ultimately at the end of the day, I'd much rather the Steelers win the division. So if we ever see them in the playoffs, I'd much rather play Pittsburgh than Baltimore. So.
Oh yeah, baby. Maybe we'll reverse the curse and hit you with a Tebow overtime touchdown pass, but this time it won't be with Tebow. It'll be Mason Rudolph because Aaron Rodgers gets carted off in the third quarter.
Oh no, dude! I would love to. Dude, if anybody were to beat us like that in that type of fashion, I'm a huge A-Rod fan. So, and I've been vouching for him all year, even since he was on the Jets. I was like, he still got it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing I'd love to talk about too, because I didn't watch the full game. But me and Trey did a pod on Thursday where we did break down the Steelers versus Bills, and that was just a heartbreaking game to watch. But there was a point at the end of the game where Rodgers was calling a lot of the plays as they were moving down the field, and they had the most success they had out of the entire day. Go figure, obviously. But then it ends with a 4th and 2 run on, just right up the middle. It was a terrible call. But today, I feel like they gave Rodgers more leeway to do stuff like that. And Rodgers just came out like ready to sling it. And the biggest thing was that they finally broke this streak of not having a single pass over 20 air yards. It's been 5 weeks up until today, and today they finally broke it. DK Metcalf had a huge game with 148 yards. What's your take on the Steelers offense?
No, I mean, kind of similar to your point. It's like if Aaron Rodgers is kind of doing what he wants to do and finds his rhythm and his groove, like I still think he can sling the ball. Like 100%. If he's getting decent enough protection and his receivers are doing what they're supposed to be doing, I mean, I think he can still play at a pretty high level. One of the things that I feel like has been an issue with him over the last couple of years, even with the Jets and maybe even later in his tenure with the Packers, is that him and his receivers aren't always on the same page. It seems like he's always bitching at them and yelling at them and, telling them they're screwing up with this or that. And a good thing now, I think that the Steelers have a lot more older receivers. They have, and I think they just elevated MVS to the active roster.
And Adam Thielen
kind of figuring it out. Even Adam Thielen coming on to the team. So like, you kind of see what Rodgers is going for, just older, mature players who are going to do what they're supposed to do. And I think if they can kind of get on the same page, that he can get those guys clicking.
Yeah, 100%. RJ Harvey just ran for a first down, pretty much seals the game. Well, Raiders might be able to get the ball back if they stop him, but I mean, down by 10, it's over.
Me and my wife are fighting over the TV right now. We have a YouTube TV. And too many screens, and I keep going, try again. I pull up on my side, and then she keeps taking it off and put it on the living room.
It keeps switching. No. TDB says Rodgers over Arthur Smith, I'm sure. And I agree. I don't think Arthur Smith's done a terrible job in Pittsburgh. But there are definitely games, especially like the Bills game, where his refusal to adjust to what the game is giving him really hurts the team. And this is something he did in Atlanta all the time, like refusing to throw to Drake London, refusing to throw to Kyle Pitts, who, we can argue about whether he's good or not. He's playing pretty well right now. But I mean, Arthur Smith loved running with the backup running back, Tyler Algier, like sat Bijan on the bench. They were like splitting carries 50-50. I definitely like Rodgers calling the offense, but I mean, this is a huge win for the Steelers, especially after last week's catastrophic loss to the Bills, where they just looked dead. Run defense still struggling. I mean, defense really did struggle, but they held their own. So, I don't really have much else to say on the Ravens. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, I think the Lamar thing is really affecting them.
I think it's a wrap for them this year, man. I mean, they haven't really shown the ability to be elite in any phase of the game throughout the course of the season. Even the Steelers have had more complete games, throughout the season. And even today was like a pretty good performance overall by Pittsburgh, and Mike Tomlin got his guys right. But I don't know what's up with Harbaugh and the Ravens. I mean, you think he's on the hot seat now with, the way that they've, finished these last couple of seasons?
Yeah. I mean, the Tomlin thing, the Harbaugh thing, everybody's quick to jump to, fire the coach. And especially Baltimore and Pittsburgh. I think those two coaches are like some of the longest tenured coaches right now in the NFL.
And they have the most frustrated fan bases right now.
Exactly. Because they're always good. I mean, they're always good teams. They
Mhm.
may have missed the playoffs a couple times, but they just can't get over the hump. And I feel the Ravens' frustration. Honestly, like if the Steelers and Ravens weren't in the same division, I would probably be a Ravens fan because we just play so similarly. Um, but yeah, I don't think Harbaugh's on the hot seat. If anything, it's really the offensive coordinator too. I think his play calling's gotten a little stale.
Yeah, well, isn't it his first year there in Baltimore this season, or is it his second year? Because they had
I think this is his third.
Okay.
Because they did have another guy. Oh my gosh, I got to look it up because I know his name. Ravens OC Todd Monken.
Okay.
So he's been there since 23. So 23 was year one, a lot of growing pains.
Mhm.
Then they come into year two. Lamar has his best season as a quarterback, throws for 40 touchdowns,
Yeah.
adds a bunch on the ground. And, now this year we're seeing the offense regress a ton. And obviously it's not all his fault. Like here, O-line's bad. Lamar's not playing well. I mean, Derrick Henry, I don't know what you think about Derrick Henry,
Oh,
but
yeah.
he doesn't look great. 25 carries, 94 yards, like a 3.5 yard average.
I mean, that's solid. He's definitely a workhorse, but also you got to think about those fumbles early in the season too. Like
Yeah.
he's getting older. I mean, it's probably in the last couple seasons of his career.
Yep.
And also, I mean, hard to blame it on the offensive coordinator when your, MVP quarterback is gone half the time. So
exactly. And the defense has been a huge problem. I mean, their sack leader on the defense is Mike Green. He's got 2.5 sacks on the season. So that it's not good when they can't rush the passer. They don't have a good secondary. Ravens just had a really bad year so far this year, and I do think it's done. I would like to see them. They did a little bit more with Keaton Mitchell. He had that big 55-yard run today, and I think that they should run him a little bit more. Keeps Derrick Henry fresh, and Keaton's just lightning compared to Derrick Henry. So they're a great combo. I'd love to see that more. But anyway, we've talked a lot about the Steelers. I don't want to hog all the time on my favorite team, but it is good to have a win on a Sunday. Feels so nice.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's talk about Thursday night. Thursday night, we had the Lions take on the Cowboys in Detroit. This was fireworks. This was a great game. Lions end up winning 44-30. Jose, what stood out to you in this game, or what did you notice?
I mean, hard to deny. Okay, two players on the Lions offense that always show up for them, Gibbs and then St. Brown. Dude, I have St. Brown in fantasy, and I didn't start him because I didn't know he was playing. I heard he had this injury that was going to hold him out until next week. So I was like, oh, man, bummer. And then I turn on the game because I'm a little late turning it on, getting after work. And then I'm like, what the hell? And he's just lighting it up. So this dude is just
balling.
A baller, man. He's a straight baller, and he has guts to go out there and play on an injury like that. So mad respect to St. Brown, and then Gibbs just doing his thing like always. What, 3 touchdowns that day? Or
Yep.
Just a beast.
3 touchdowns. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is an absolute cheat code. He is like the young Christian McCaffrey, except like blazing fast. McCaffrey was fast. Jahmyr is like blazing fast. I was like, it was like 2 hours before the game started, and people started sharing clips on Twitter of Amon-Ra running routes, and he looked great. And they were like, Amon-Ra gave the thumbs up, said he's good to go. I was like, oh, get him in. And so I was able to get him in. But yeah, just a solid player. And like you said, props to him, because he could have easily just said, nah, you know what? I'm just going to sit this game out. But he realizes how big this game was for the team. And it was big. They're 8-5 now. They're coming off a loss. I can't remember who they played last week, but they were coming off a loss.
Bears.
And Dallas has been, the Bears. Yep. And Dallas has been hot, playing really well. So Dallas really had a good game. I think the failure for them is the turnovers from Dak. That doesn't help. And then their defense just couldn't stop this Lions offense. And their defense has been playing a lot better, even with the new additions from the trade deadline. It's been a lot better, but this is a high-powered offense, and they couldn't stop them. You have anything to say on the Cowboys?
Just a complete mismatch. And, I mean, the offense was clicking really. I mean, Dallas offense is pretty damn good. I love Dak and how he plays. I think he's a smart football player, usually makes the right decision. But, from time to time, I watch a lot of Cowboys games because my brother's a Cowboys fan. And I end up, I was rooting for them to beat the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. So,
oh, yeah.
But every once in a while, he'll just make like a completely boneheaded decision. Like, dude, who are you throwing that ball at? Or like, just
Right.
as far as like taking care of the ball in general, like, was that a safety or like a near safety that they got?
Yeah,
Was the
it was
latter
very
towards
close.
the beginning of that game. So just some questionable decisions by him early on that kind of set them up for failure. And then also CD going down in that game. I don't know what
Yeah.
the injury is, but that could be pretty big going forward. But at this
Yeah.
point in the season, I think the Cowboys have a 9% chance to make the playoffs. So
Yep.
season's pretty much a wrap for those guys. And just kind of hard to determine what you want to see out of the rest of the season as a Cowboys fan. I mean, I know Pickens is up for a contract extension right now, but his
Yeah.
effort seems to be lackluster.
That's what I was going to ask you is, what did you think of the Pickens, lack of effort thing? And even his, like, did you see his conversations with Richard Sherman
Yeah,
online?
that was crazy, man. I mean, dude, first of all, Sherman is kind of out of pocket for going at him like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
I feel like you can never question another grown man's work ethic, especially when it comes
Right.
to a sport like that. Like, you have no idea what the play call was or no idea what his, role on that particular play is. So, like, to call somebody out for his effort or not doing the right things, especially for a guy who's like, what, second in the league in receiving yards right now?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
come on, be real. But
Yeah.
also, like, I mean, Pickens is a younger guy, a little immature to clap back like that. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame him for that.
I love it. I like my receivers have a little bit of attitude and some sass, and he's earned it. Like, he has balled out this year. If he hadn't been playing well all year and, Sherman came out and said something like that, then yeah, I get it.
Right.
He
like
has one bad game.
Guy. Like,
right. So he has one bad game. And, there were definitely some plays where he lacked effort, but that's always been Pickens. Like, he's always done that. And so I don't know if you're ever going to get over that, but, with the good stuff that he does bring you, I mean, I just think he's so worth it. I don't know if he's going to re-sign with the Cowboys or not. I'm sure that he's going to get some massive offers.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if the Cowboys have the ability to pay that. I mean, all that money on the offense is going to be Dak, CD, probably Javonte Williams probably have to get re-signed too. They need him for sure. So
and they need to rebuild that defense some more. Like, there's a lot of stuff they got to do on that team. So yeah, the Pickens thing is just a fun thing to think about. But I love George Pickens. I think he's a top 10 talent in the league. Last guy I just want to talk about briefly is Isaac Tesla for Detroit. This guy doesn't do anything except score touchdowns. He's so good.
Crazy catches too.
The craziest catches. I'm just wondering when he's going to start, playing more in the offense as more of a staple. As the Bears, look at that. Bears are almost going to tie. I can't believe the Bears are so crazy. They're about to tie it up, down by 7. They're on the goal line. I can't believe the Bears like play so bad, and then every time I look up, they're always in the game. It is wild to me.
Dang. Yeah, they're chipping. Love their head coach, man.
Yeah, Ben Johnson's a dog.
Getting him right, man.
Man, so yeah, Isaac Tesla, just shout out to him. Great game for him. And he did miss. He had a couple other targets for touchdowns too, so he almost hit the double. And I had a bet on him. 2 for 20 and a touchdown.
Okay.
But I think he had 4 or 5 targets in that game. Let me see. And I mean, one of them, like, he just about brought in. Okay, so he had 3 targets. So, but yeah, I just think he's a player to keep your eye on, especially if you play fantasy. Like, he's
sneaky waiver wire pickup, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if Amon-Ra went down, like if he actually was hurt, or if Jameson goes down. They're without Laporta. He's like a big guy, and so he's basically like a tight end size. So anyway, I think he could be a good guy to keep your eye on.
Before we leave Lions Cowboys, one thing that I think about the Lions is that obviously they have a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball, but I think if the Lions are missing any of those pieces, that Jared Goff really struggles, whether it's a receiver 100%. Or a back or a tight end. Like it'll take him some time to adjust and get used to kind of their new normal whenever somebody goes out. So he plays great when everybody's clicking, but I don't think he's somebody that you can put the game on.
Yeah.
So that's my concern
100%.
about them going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and this is why Sean McVay traded him away for Stafford, and also traded a bunch of first-round picks to go get Stafford. Like, I think a lot of people thought that was crazy at the time because Goff had very good stats. But Goff has always struggled when he's missing pieces in like a dynamic offense, or if he's under pressure. Like when he's under pressure, he is so bad. And so, no slight to Goff, but I just don't think he's ever gonna. Yeah, I don't think he's ever gonna ascend to like greatness.
Yeah, I think we've seen his
very good
feeling at this point.
Exactly. All right, so let's move on. We got the Jags and Colts. This was another big divisional game. NFC or AFC South. This was the match to decide who was number one. The Jags wax them. It's 36-19 was the final score. The big storyline from this one is Daniel Jones ruptured his Achilles in this game. So he is done for the season. Man, what do you think about this?
No, I think basically the Colts season ended in a matter of a couple of quarters. They had a great season up to this point, but even the last couple of weeks they've been struggling more and more offensively and defensively. Still won a couple tough games here and there, but you can kind of see like they're not the superpower that they were early in the season. And then for this to happen, I mean, just heartbreaking, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, prayers out to Daniel Jones because that just sucks. And this is like he's got a 1-year contract with the Colts. Colts were probably going to re-sign him, but there were other teams in line that wanted him. I know the Vikings have already talked about wanting to sign him. And there's a bunch of QB needy teams with a pretty poor draft class coming in. So this might have just lost him like $100 million. Which sucks. So he's played great this year. I thought Riley Leonard came in and played decent.
Yeah, I have no idea how he played after that. But I mean, like literally once I seen that, I was like, okay, I don't have to worry about the Colts for the rest of the season.
Yeah. No, the Colts are pretty much done. I mean,
Richardson's
they're
out
8-5.
for the year too, right?
What's that?
Richardson's out for the year too over there.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was hurt until earlier today. Someone was talking about all his facial
he snapped his orbital bone with like a exercise band.
That's insane.
I think it was for like before a game.
That dude is made of glass. And like no slight to him.
Yeah, that's a crazy injury though. Like, dude?
That's insane.
What the hell are you doing with an exercise band that snaps?
How hard are you stretching this thing?
Seriously,
like what in the world? No, Riley Leonard. So Riley Leonard is a rookie. Came from Notre Dame. He helped Notre Dame get to the Natty last year. They ended up losing, obviously, but he played a pretty good game. And I think it wasn't really him being good, more so just him being able to run the offense that Shane Steichen runs.
Right.
And it really just shows you how bad Anthony Richardson is at like running an NFL offense.
Yeah.
Because Leonard played decent, but they were already down. And once Daniel Jones went out, it was just like, it was over.
Yeah, probably a lot of vanilla stuff from Jacksonville to end that game, just to get out of there with the win. But yeah, no, I mean, now the Jags are on top of the AFC South.
Yep.
Destiny is in their own hands. Trevor Lawrence played great, and the receiving core coming together quite nicely. Thompson Jr., Jacoby Myers is playing well, and even former Denver Bronco Tim Patrick with
Tim Patrick.
Yeah,
former Denver Bronco legend Tim Patrick.
He is, man. Dude.
He's so good.
Dude, I went to go see them in Dallas with my brother when they played the Cowboys a couple years ago, and started off the game with a Tim Patrick touchdown. Never forget it.
Dude, Tim Patrick would have been a star if his name wasn't two like first names, basic first names. Tim Patrick. If his name was like Jacoby Myers, he would have been like a superstar. That's all I'm saying.
That's what held him back. You're right.
Yeah,
not the millions of injuries early in his career, but it's the name.
He did have a lot of injuries. ETN had a great game, 2 touchdowns on this one. My man Bashal Tootin looks like he fumbled twice, and I think he got injured, so he didn't play much in this game. Kind of a bummer, but yeah, not much to say on this game. But what do you think about the Jags long term, like moving through the playoffs this year? Do you think they have a chance to make some noise?
I think they have a chance to upset some people for sure. They're just a weird, scrappy team because they have a ton of explosive talent on both sides of the ball. I think their corners on defense play pretty well. They got a decent rush and run defense. it just seems like they're a little bit of, a roller coaster. They're up and down from game to game, kind of like the Broncos to a point where they kind of play up or down to their competition. So if they can find some consistency, and a game like this definitely shows, what they're capable of, I think they're a team to be afraid of going into the playoffs on the AFC side.
Absolutely. And they're well coached.
Mm-hmm.
They got a lot of good stuff going for them. Trevor Lawrence just scares me. He's playing well right now, but he's another one of those guys like a Jared Goff where he plays well, but I don't know if he'll ever ascend to greatness. He struggles in big games, and he's way less of a passer than Goff is.
At this point for sure. And I do definitely get big Jared Goff vibes with that dude, but it's almost like sometimes they win in spite of him, as well as other games they win because of him. So it's just like which Trevor Lawrence are you going to get that day?
Yeah. So anyway, that's it for them. Let's move on. This was a fun game. The New Orleans Saints marched down to Tampa Bay in the rainstorm and beat the Buccaneers on their own home turf. They win 24-20. This is crazy. I mean, let's talk about the Bucs first, because the Bucs offense was abysmal in this game. And they started off the season red hot. Baker was like one of the favorites for MVP. I mean, what happened? I've talked to Caleb about this, but like, I want to talk to you because I haven't gotten to talk to you about this. What happened?
No, I'm not really sure what happened with the Bucs offense. I mean, Baker's always been, an explosive playmaker with his arms and with his legs. And I know kind of like towards the middle of the season, it seemed like he stopped running as much. And I think that kind of, isn't helping, of course, but also with the injuries at wide receiver, the injuries with the offensive line, it's hard to, maintain any kind of type of consistency with all of those injuries.
Yeah.
And the lack of willingness to run the ball from the quarterback. And I think even their run game is kind of, not holding up their end of the bargain with the offense either. So
they just get Bucky back last week. So, give him benefit of the doubt. His first week back since like week 1 or 2. This game he comes back. He played all right. He scored a touchdown, but only 55 yards and only 2 catches. I'm with you. I think the Bucs offense is sputtering. And I don't know what to really. I think one of the big things that's caused this is Emeka Egbuka. So Emeka Egbuka started off the season red hot. I mean, red hot. Everybody was like, "Holy cow! How did he fall in the draft?"
Yeah, rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year was like the talk, and he was mainly buoyed by touchdowns. He was scoring a lot of touchdowns, so he was like way over efficient statistically. Now, in the last like 4 or 5 weeks, he's become the most inefficient receiver in the NFL. And it just like doesn't make sense at all. I don't know. I still think Emeka's good, but
without Godwin and without Mike Evans, all the attention from a defense is going to be on Egbuka. I mean, that's even given, like Tez Johnson a bunch of opportunities to, make big plays down the field because everybody's more concerned with Egbuka. But to your point, it's like when you have those injuries at those key positions, those other, big name receivers were drawing a lot of attention from the defense. And now without them, it's just hard to maintain.
Yeah, absolutely. Kendrick.
Panthers got to be super pumped about that performance by the Saints.
Panthers winning even on the bye, man. That's just crazy. Kendrick was texting me today. He sent me a picture of the Steelers-Ravens game. He was like, I'm locked in because he doesn't have to watch Panthers today, so he's watching the Steelers.
There we go.
So shout out Kendrick. I mean, this puts the Panthers, I think, firmly at the top of the division.
They're tied. I think they're tied.
Or they're tied. Okay, they're tied.
The Bucs,
wow, that's crazy.
I don't know.
I bet you they play again soon.
But that's going to come down to the wire, I bet, between the Bucs and Panthers. But shout out to the Saints defense today, because I think what did I see? 5 forced turnover on downs, including that last drive to win the game. Playing pretty solid football today. So
yeah, the Saints defense came up in a big way. I think they stuffed them on 4th down like 2-3 times today, and that's a stat that should be accredited to defenses as a turnover. 5 times, is that what you said?
5 times, yeah.
Man, they were balling out. I love the Saints team. I don't know what it is about them. They just are so scrappy. I think they're so good. And like Tyler Shuck, like we'll talk about him because he was a second round pick, didn't play a whole lot in college. A bunch of people just thought he was a pumpkin, coming in. And, Rattler starts the first half of the season. He played decently, but he was just too conservative. You bring in Shuck, and Shuck's like the complete opposite. Shuck's going to chuck the ball down the field. He's a gunslinger. He's going to run all over the place. And today, his stat line, he's 13 of 20 for 144 yards, no touchdowns, but he throws a pick. But he does also add 55 yards on the ground with two touchdowns.
Dang.
And that's huge. Vanilla Vic is in the house. But yeah, so I'll say this because I didn't do a brothers parlay with Caleb this week, but I did my own. And Tyler Shuck, I had him on there for an anytime touchdown.
No way.
It was a long
Really?
shot. Yep. So I had a little 4-legger. It was good. I cashed out after the 3 legs. The last guy I needed was Breece Hall. And that after Tyrod went down, it was just over for Breece. So I cashed out immediately. Got my $65 for $5. So we'll take that. But yeah, Tyler Shuck, I don't know if he's ever going to be like great, but he is showing improvement week to week. And honestly, he reminds me a lot of Baker Mayfield. So I think it's pretty exciting for the Saints.
I haven't heard that comparison yet, so that's something to look out for.
His ability to create behind the line and shed off would-be sacks. There was one play at the end of the game, actually his second rushing touchdown, where he dropped back, pocket collapsed on him. He bounced out to the outside, kept his eyes down the field, and then just ran in like a 15-yard touchdown. And he took a massive hit. Honestly, I thought he got a concussion because his hands were like shaking. But I mean,
he's legit, man.
Yeah, I think he's legit. And I mean, he's throwing to guys like Devon Valet, which Devon Valet.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then Chris Olave. Chris Olave is great.
Mm-hmm.
Jawan Johnson's pretty good. But other than that, it's like there's nobody. There's no other receiver on this list that he completed a pass to. It was Valet, Olave, and then his tight ends and running backs. So
just a lot QB1 heading into next year, you think then, huh?
I think so, especially with the draft class shaping up the way it is. I think the Saints have a lot of needs, and I don't know if they need to necessarily press the button this year on a quarterback. I think ride out Shuck another year and then waiting for 27 and see who's available then. A lot better talent there. Get you some O-line, D-line, something like that. So, but just exciting for the Saints. So let's move to the next one, unless you got anything else on these two teams.
No, let's do it.
All right. Real quick, looks like the Packers just scored. So they're up about to kick the extra point. They'll be up 28-21 with 3.5 minutes left.
Okay.
I want to see who scored this one. If they'll show the highlight. Josh Jacobs, of course.
Nice.
Gross Josh Jacobs.
Nope.
Yeah, that's a dogfight there. All right, so next game we're going to cover is this Dolphins-Jets game. Pretty gross game. It would have been a lot closer, I think, if Tyrod played for most of the game, but we had to see a lot of Brady Cook, which, put a gun to my head, tell me where he's from. I would be dead.
I don't think I've ever heard of that guy in my life.
Yeah. Actually, he played at Missouri, so there's that. Brady Cook is the reason Luther Burden dropped to the second round in drafts, because Brady Cook refused to throw him the ball. But anyway, what do you take away from this Dolphins team? They've won a bunch of games straight. They're 6-7. They're not out of the playoff race.
Yeah, they're still in the hunt. They're still sniffing it. I think the big thing with the Dolphins is their run game. Like, we've all kind of seen over the years, like the struggles that Tua goes through, and the decision making isn't always there. But when you can rely on a run game that can rush for over 200 yards in the game, like you don't need to throw the down ball. You can just run the hell out of A-Chain. And I think he got hurt today. I think he still had a big game. I think he had almost 100 yards on like 7 carries earlier in the game.
Yep.
But and then their backup running back, is it Taylor?
Jalen Wright. Yeah. So he had over 100-yard game today too. So, I mean, the offensive line is moving people, and coach is scheming up a ton of big plays in the run game. So I think they can make a run for a playoff spot here towards the end of the season if they keep playing how they're playing now. Yeah, I love it, and especially after everybody was talking so much about firing Mike McDaniel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was one week where it was like, okay, this is for sure going to happen, and
Yeah.
it didn't happen. And I'm glad they didn't, because I don't think this is a Mike McDaniel problem. I think he's a good head coach. He's great
Mhm.
for this offense because he is maximizing what you're getting out of Tua,
Did the
which isn't a
Dolphins
whole lot.
start playing better after Tyreek Hill got hurt?
Yes. I mean, definitely yes, because they've won a bunch of games.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what week Tyreek got hurt. I think they lost one or two after that game too. But they've really turned it around. They sold a bunch of guys at the trade deadline, and they've just really committed to running the ball. Like you said, I think that was the big shift, is that they took the ball out of Tua's hands and put it in Devin A. Chain's hands,
And
or
I only bring that up because I feel like there's a lot of times when you have like that diva wide receiver, calling for the ball and demanding his touches, that especially with a player's coach like Mike McDaniels, who, it seems like he's going to want to take into account what his players have to say when it comes to play calling. Like when you have a loudmouth diva like that in your ear all the time, or complaining on the sideline, or just bitching and moaning about different things, like that can, be a source of contention where, once that type of energy is gone from the sideline, then you can kind of get back to calling what you're good at. So
yeah,
I feel like we see that every
absolutely.
once in a while.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I think that we don't know what's going on in the locker room. We hear reports. We see the team early on in the season. Everybody's throwing everybody under the bus.
Right.
I mean, Tua threw the head coach under the bus. Mike McDaniel came out and basically said, he's just frustrated. I mean, he took it right on the chin. I have nothing but the utmost respect for Mike McDaniels.
Hey, shout out Aurora, Colorado, Smoky Hill High School, right down the road from me. That's where he
really.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
He was a Broncos
I
boy back in the day too. So
really. Small world. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
So the Achane injury is not thought to be serious. Apparently, he was able to come back in, but they were already up by so many scores, and they're trying to make a playoff push, so they didn't rush him back in, which I think is smart. They let Jalen Wright run the ball. Dude just kept scoring. On the Jets side, there's not a whole lot to talk about, because you got Brady Cook, and he just is not good. Tyrod went out early with an injury. Jets are just in a rebuild. They're going to continue to lose, although they've been playing a lot better the last couple weeks. So shout out to the Jets. But yeah, this was a big blowout for them. Caleb's on here. Caleb says Broncos are lucky Kenny Pickett didn't play the whole game. It's pretty funny. I'm pretty sure that game's over now. But you're right, Caleb. They are lucky Kenny Pickles didn't play the whole game. That would have been really embarrassing. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all we can talk about there, because that was a stinker.
I just hope Aaron Glenn gets a chance at year 2, like a solid, with a decent roster. So I think he's a good coach, and I think he knows how to rally the troops, but they just don't have what it takes right now, talent-wise, to make anything meaningful happen.
Honestly, I think he will, especially these last 2 games they played. I can't remember who they upset last week, but it was a pretty good team. And so, I think the Jets they're heading in a good direction. They always had the quarterback question. They probably spent too much money on Fields. But I will never disrespect the team for trying to spend money to get a better quarterback.
Right.
That's where you spend your money to get a better player. But anyway, from one stinker to another, Washington Commanders travel to Minnesota, take on the Vikings. JJ McCarthy looks like Tom Brady light in this one. 3 touchdowns in this game. And the Vikings win 31-0. I think the big storyline from this one is just why does this Jaden Daniels experience feel just like the RG3 experience? And why are the coaches doing the same thing that the coaches did, that Mike Shanahan did with RG3 when he rushed him out after that terrible knee injury and ruined his career? And now they're throwing Jaden Daniels back in after we saw his arm on live television, like, go the opposite way. Like, I don't know. What is your take on that with the Commanders?
No, I mean, it just doesn't really make any sense. I think Dan Quinn, in a sense, is like feeling some of the pressure from not only the fans, but maybe even ownership. And, he's like, all right, like we put a good game on tape against the Broncos last week. Maybe they blew their load a little bit, but also at the same time, it's like he wants to win games so desperately that if Daniels is available, he's going to put him back in. When in reality, like looking at the big picture, season's pretty much over. Not going to make the playoffs. Let's save Jaden for next season. Let's get a better draft pick. Like, let's just move on to next season at this point.
And it's such a crazy change in philosophy for them because last year they were so conservative with Daniels. I remember like in those first couple games when Jaden would start running, you would see Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury, like the coaching staff on the sideline, like telling him, go down. Like, don't fight for anything extra, because that was his biggest knock. The dude's like, his weight probably says 200, but he's like 180 soaking wet. I mean, he is skinny. He's frail. No knock on him because he takes some big hits and bounces right back up. But last year he was incredibly lucky to not get injured through the whole season, and they played it very cautiously. Coming into this year, there seems to have been a shift from that, where he has a pretty bad injury. They rush him back from that injury. I can't remember what that was. I think it was like a knee injury or an ankle. But they rush him back from that one. He comes back, he plays that game and destroys his elbow on his non-throwing hand. And somehow he's cleared to play again. And they, like you said, they almost beat the Broncos last week. They played a great game against the Broncos, and Mariota looked awesome. Yep. And they have 9 losses on the season coming into this one. So, like, I don't understand why you're going to put this guy who is like the face of the franchise back out onto the field in a season where you're pretty much going to lose. Like, I just don't understand it. I think it's just really bad, and it shocks me. The only thing I can think of is that they went and signed a bunch of high dollar free agents like Deebo Samuel, got a couple guys on the defense, Von Miller, who's the guy on the offensive line, Laramie Tunsil.
Yep.
They went and spent a lot of money this offseason, and they don't have any draft capital coming up this year. They've got maybe 4 selections in the draft again. And so maybe that's why. But
yeah, they're already all in on the season. I feel like they can't take a loss at this point, but still, at the same time, like, they're football players. Doctor clears you and you go out there on the field. You can't blame the coach or owner or whoever else when you get hurt. And it comes down to, the fragility of Jaden Daniels. I mean, that was probably one of the biggest concerns coming out of the draft is how small he was.
Yeah.
And even you see him on the field again with all those other NFL players. It's like, he looks like a little kid out there sometimes, size-wise.
He does.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's bad when a DB looks bigger than you.
Right.
But on the Viking side, this is a really good game to bounce back from. Obviously, like, there's been a lot of talk bad about JJ McCarthy. He's been really bad. And there's no sugarcoating that. He has been very bad. Comes into this one and he just plays a clean game. Doesn't throw any interceptions. He does take 4 sacks, which once again, QB stat. But I think they played a good game. And they were able to put points on the board, but still Justin Jefferson, 2 catches in this game. It's like, what are we doing, man? I don't know. What is your take on the JJ McCarthy experience and the quarterback situation for the Vikings?
No, I honestly think this is a little bit of a fluky game. I mean, stat wise, because 3 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, he only had 163 passing yards. Like, what he was definitely, had the handcuffs on. Like,
oh yeah.
The game was kind of out of hand early, so they really didn't put any of this game on his shoulders. A lot of easy, play calling to make the game simple for him. So, almost like a preseason game, and a little bit like, it wasn't a real game in my opinion. I still don't think he's going to be very good going forward. What was his longest pass today? Like 20 yards maybe? Did he throw anything deep?
I don't think anything was deep. Like, everything was very conservative. Like, the touchdowns he threw to the backup tight end and then the starting tight end. They were short crosser routes, and not to like poo-poo on that. Like, you got to be able to do that. But this Commanders defense is just obliterated. They're not like a great defense right now. They've got a good defensive coach, but when this defense was bad last year, and they didn't do a whole lot except for sign like Von Miller and maybe some secondary help to change that. Didn't have much draft capital to do anything. And so this is a bad defense. One of the probably bottom 5 in the NFL. So, but still good to see JJ come out and be able to execute the offense against a bad offense. Now we need to see him do it against mediocre talent, against, I mean, at this point in the season, it's like you got to do it against like the Bears. You got to do it against the Packers. You got to do it against the Lions. Like those are the divisional games you got to win if you want any shot at the playoffs. And for JJ, any shot at playing next year. So,
well, I think they're definitely going to give him next year, regardless of how the season ends.
Yeah.
But still, he has to pick it up big time for me to have any confidence in him as a legitimate quarterback going forward.
Yeah, not honestly, and I'll disagree with you on that. I don't know if he's really a safe lock for next year because this Vikings fan base is really they've been geared up for a good Super Bowl run. They've been a good team the last few years. They had Kirk Cousins, they had Sam Darnold last year, and they were playing extremely well, top of the league. And now this year we see the team, they made this major commitment to JJ, and JJ's atrocious, so already losing the trust of the fan base. But even with like Carson Wentz, they weren't able to win games. And I'm not saying Carson Wentz is good.
He didn't play terrible.
Caleb Williams just threw a pick in the back of the end zone.
Game on the
Packers,
line.
Yeah, 20 seconds left. Packers are going to win it. That's just crazy. Brutal loss. And that is why the Bears are so run heavy. But yeah, I think Kevin O'Connell's job may be in jeopardy. I don't think it's right, but I think it may be in jeopardy. So we'll see how that comes to fruition.
Yeah, I could
as
see
we
like
head to the offseason.
I could see like a Colts situation with this guy, like similar to Richardson, where he's on the team, he's the assumed starter, but they're going to bring in some competition and see how it goes.
That makes sense to me. I think bringing in a veteran, like they talked about Daniel Jones, and they still might try to bring in Daniel Jones, but bring in some competition to try to get the best out of JJ and let JJ sit on the bench, for a time and kind of learn the game, because his college career, he didn't really get a whole lot of learning, and he really didn't throw the ball a lot. Didn't have to because he was playing on that Michigan team that just ran like crazy. Speaking of college football, before we move to the next game, my alma mater is in the college football playoff. James Madison University has got the 12 seed, baby. Come on, baby.
Let's
go Dukes. Yeah, I can't believe we got in there, and now we got to play Oregon. So, can't wait to get smacked 65-3 on live television. But we made it, and that's all I'll say.
First time in program history. Congrats.
Yeah. I'd love to see them jump. And I mean, I don't know how much you're into college football, but like obviously one of the biggest conversations right now is Notre Dame not making it into the playoff. What is your thought and feel on that?
I mean, I think the committee's pretty much just saying like, dude, you can't just freelance anymore. Like if you want to be taken seriously, you have to get into a conference.
Yeah.
Just
I
like
don't understand why they don't
play legit games.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to broadcasting rights. I'm not completely sure on that, but I think they get paid a ton of money by NBC. And I think when you're in these different conferences, there's like a revenue sharing type deal that you have to go through. And I think it has to do a lot with money, but
that makes sense.
That's the price you pay when you want to do that. So
yeah, see, I know like some stuff about college football. That's like the kind of thing I know nothing about. And Notre Dame I'm happy to see them out just because I know some friends of mine are really upset, and I kind of like seeing people mad. So, all right, let's move on to this next game. This was a crazy fun game, probably two of the worst teams. We had the Tennessee Titans take on the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. A little bit of snow in this one, but you remember all the preseason clips of Shador and Cam Ward, practicing together and talking bad about one another and all this stuff. Titans win this one 31-29, but Shador balled out. So what do you got to say?
No, dude, Shador, 4 total touchdowns, outshines the number 1 overall pick in this last year's draft. Dude, he did his thing, man. And he definitely didn't play like a 5th round pick. And, with a couple of weeks worth of, first team reps in practice, like you can see what this guy's capable of, calm, composed, cool under pressure, poised, great pocket presence, accuracy, just threw some absolute dimes for touchdowns today. So I think he has the potential to be a great player. And I think, the Cleveland Browns have some decent talent on offense. They have some good tight ends in Njoku, Fannin. Judy had I don't know, it was like a 50-yard touchdown pass from Shador today after that, little situation they had on the sideline last week. So, I think just Shador, nothing phases this dude.
Yeah.
He's gone through a ton of adversity to get to where he's at this point in the season, and he's playing like a stud. So regardless of the outcome of the game, he did his thing. And I think not only does the fan base have confidence in this dude, but so do his teammates. So I think, hopefully for the rest of the season, he's going to be getting the starting role.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think he's earned it. I've been on the show for all year. I'm marked as a Shador hater. And so I will say he played a great game in this one. I have to. I mean, even if you account in that the Titans defense is pretty bad, they're a bottom team for a reason. To be able to throw for 360 yards and 3 touchdowns, that's not just nothing. And I've always thought Shador was my best comp for Shador was Geno Smith. He reminds me a lot of Geno Smith. He had the sack problem,
right?
Like Geno, but also has a cannon, can throw the ball down the field, knows how to throw guys open. And he just played a great game in this one. Like you said, 4 total touchdowns. He is just dumpstering me in my dynasty league right now. I had a pretty easy win today, projected at least, and Shador dropped 46 on me. So,
man, dude.
Yeah,
not in the last week of the regular season too. Damn.
And I just traded with this guy to get Amon-Ra St. Brown off of him, and so he didn't have Amon-Ra, and so he still dumpstered me, and it's just a great feeling to go into the playoffs after okay, I got Amon-Ra, we're good, we're rolling, like I'm the number 1 team in the league, and no.
Wait, what did you give him for Amon-Ra?
Oh, you don't want to know.
Come on.
It was bad. I got a lot of people mad. So this guy's team, he wants to rebuild. He has a really thin roster.
Dynasty
it's a 14-team
league, right?
league. It's a dynasty league, yeah. So I gave him Cam Scatterbo. I gave him Jordan Addison. I gave him Luther Burden. I gave him somebody else, Adonai Mitchell, and then like a second-round pick. So it was a bunch of young guys that kind of accumulate to make the value of Amon-Ra, but everybody was furious.
Collusion, huh?
Yeah, well, that's what they were saying. Collusion, dude. I don't think it was collusion. I think he likes Scatterbo. And Scatterbo played great.
Oh, dude, he surprised a lot of me this year.
And I think a lot of people are Luther Burden fans. So, and Jordan Addison's been outplaying Justin Jefferson, which doesn't say much because JJ McCarthy sucks. But anyway, it just not a great feeling going into the playoffs. But yes, Shador played great. My guy, Mr. Harold Fannin Jr. Oh my gosh, this is the game I was waiting for. He's been kind of, playing pretty good, but this was the game where he alphaed everybody. 11 targets, 8 catches, 114 yards and a touchdown. He caught the game or almost the game winner, so they thought. Man, he is just so good. I love Harold Fannin.
Yeah, where did he go to school at? He kind of came out of nowhere.
Bowling Green.
Bowling Green. There we go.
So, interestingly enough, because everybody was talking about Tyler Warren having the best college tight end season of all time last year. And actually, it was not Tyler Warren who had the best college tight end season. It was Harold Fannin, but he played for Bowling Green, so nobody cared.
Right.
I think Tyler Warren had 1,100 or 1,200 all-purpose yards. Harold Fannin had 1,500.
Damn. No,
and had more touchdowns. Played for a bad school, and he runs like a duck. He's duck-footed, so he runs really weird. But Kevin Stefanski said in an interview last week that he tells all the players, when Harold gets the ball, don't stop blocking. Even if it looks like he's down, keep blocking until you hear the whistles go, because he just always somehow finds a way to break tackles. I love him. I think he's so good. But we've talked enough about the Browns. Let's give the Titans some props, come in here. I mean, they ran the ball all over this league best rush defense in the Cleveland Browns. Tony Pollard had 160 yards today and 2 touchdowns.
That's insane, man. And
dude,
best
like
performance of
talk
the
about,
season for that dude.
yeah, talk about turning back the clock. I once again, Dynasty is just screwing me this year. He was on my bench in a game where I really needed him to clinch the 1 seed in the play going into the playoffs. I played Chris Rodriguez instead of Tony Pollard because Pollard hadn't done anything all year, and Pollard has the best game
I'm pretty sure I
of his
cut
career.
Pollard at some point this season.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't Dynasty, I probably would have cut him too. Like, I don't want anything to do with the Titans running back, but apparently I do.
But no,
But yeah,
super impressive to put up 31 points on one of the league's best
yeah,
defenses. So, I mean,
yeah,
and to do that all with Cam Ward himself not playing very well, like,
yep,
dude, way to step up for your young quarterback and put the
huge.
game on the shoulders of the running backs and the offensive line.
Yeah.
So, kudos to those guys.
Yeah, and I think this was a great game plan. Come in and run the ball. And I think they've put a lot on Cam Ward's shoulders. This is a big thing with rookie quarterbacks is you don't want to put everything on their shoulders all at once. Like it's a big transition going from college ball to NFL. It doesn't matter if you're Patrick Mahomes, doesn't matter if you're Riley Leonard. It is a big transition. You see Patrick Mahomes sat for an entire year before he stepped on the field. You can't tell me Patrick Mahomes was better or wasn't better than Alex Smith. Like Alex Smith was okay. But I think Mahomes was better, but they sat him on the bench for the whole first year. And when he came in that second year, I mean, just ran right into it. Jordan Love, same thing. Aaron Rodgers, same thing. Like these guys need some time to develop. There are guys that have to start immediately for their teams because their teams are so bad. But I like that they took the pressure off of him, ran the ball a lot. Pretty smart with the ball. He did throw one pick. The best play I saw from Cam was that one sack they were about to sack him. They had him dead to rights, and he just strong arms this dude and then chucks the ball away. And that was sick. That was a really good Cam Ward play today.
Yeah, he's got heart, man. He never gives up on a play. And I mean, big dude too, big, strong dude, just throwing off just defensive linemen like that. So yeah, I think he's got a bright future going forward. But he's not ready to carry a team yet.
Yep. This was a very exciting game for two of the league's youngest quarterbacks. So very excited to see this result. And so let's move on. Here's probably one of the best games of the day. In the snow in New York, Buffalo, the Bengals take on the Bills. The Bengals lose this 34-39 after holding like a 28-18 lead going into the fourth quarter.
Dude, they had it. They had the game in hand, locked up, ready to pack it up, and then 2 late interceptions by Joe Burrow just completely flipped this game on its head. Crazy,
unbelievable. Yeah, that one Burrow interception. I don't know what he was trying to do. I think he maybe the ball slipped in his hand, but it looked like he was just trying to shovel it over top. That was just a terrible, terrible look. And that changed the entire course of the game. They throw that, and then he comes back and throws a pick right after that one. And that one was tipped. That one was not his fault. That was tipped by the D-line. But yeah, I mean, this Bills team is just incredibly resilient. Trey and I covered them this Thursday, talked a lot about them. They haven't been like this dominant Bills team like we've seen the last couple of years. But they're playing good, December ball right now. They're running the ball well. They're taking advantage of matchups, and they're just not leaving points on the field. They are scoring, which is really good. So Josh Allen has a huge game, 3 touchdowns, also runs for 78 yards and 1 touchdown. I mean, probably the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
Yeah, he's dangerous, man. He's a scary dude. He's hard to bring down when he's on the run. And I think that's one of the things that, in these games recently where they've pulled out these big wins is he's more willing to run the ball and put his body on the line because that's what made him dangerous to begin with. That element of his game is, required by the Bills offense if they want to be explosive and take advantage of all these other matchups. I feel like sometimes when he, is hesitant on running the ball or getting down early, the offense just isn't effective overall. He has to put it all on the line and then he can show out like this.
Yeah. It was funny because I never watched the pre-game talk shows like the Fox Sports and all that stuff. But I saw Kurt Warner today talking about the keys for this game, and he was talking about Josh Allen. He's like, Josh Allen, he's always, trying to be Superman, and like in this game to beat Joe Burrow, like don't be Superman. And I think you're really good just like playing in the pocket and doing that stuff. Classic boomer take, Kurt Warner like would never escape the pocket.
Oh, dude, he's such a boomer, man.
Such a boomer. Josh Allen does the exact opposite and played incredible. And like incredible. It was great to watch. But yeah, on the Bengals side, dude, like the Bengals are a good team. Like they gave this one up. They had some bad turnovers in the fourth quarter. The defense couldn't stop them. But I mean, Joe Burrow, like I just think he's one of the top three. I think he's top three in the NFL.
Yeah, I definitely think he should be in consideration for one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But kind of at the same point, like, if he's not available, this team collapses. Like year after year after year. What is this, like the third consecutive year where he misses major time due to injury? So when he's on the field, he's fun to watch, and he's definitely one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But I don't know, man. Can he stay healthy for an entire season going forward? That's going to be what, this game depends on.
Yeah, definitely. And that's, the whole conversation is they pour all this money into Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Not like either of those guys are not deserving of the money. They all deserve that money. They're incredible players. But this is what happens when you heavily invest your money in, a couple players instead of spreading it across the team. Your offensive line struggles. Yeah, your defense, massive struggles.
They're built from the outside in rather than from inside out. So
that's right.
When you start adding big money pieces at receiver and, running back or tight end and everywhere besides, the trenches, I mean, you're not going to amount to a consistent football team that wins games week in, week out. So,
yeah. And I love T. Higgins. I really do. I think he's like a top 12 receiver in the league. But I just don't know if it was really the smartest move to go and sign him to that massive contract when you have all these other needs on the team. And they've had other receivers play well and, when Higgins was out. So, and that's not to say that they couldn't have picked up somebody or drafted somebody. So anyway, I just think the Bengals, the way they've built this team, the way it's structured, I just don't think, unless you have a complete outlier season, I just don't think that they're ever built to really make a big, serious run to the
Super Bowl. They had that outlier season already when they went to the Super Bowl against the Rams.
And that team was right. That the whole difference with that team is that they didn't have so much money sunken into T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow. They were all on rookie contracts. And so now that those guys are out of their rookie contracts but signed, all that money's out the window. They had a much better defense at that time.
Right.
And so, I mean, we've just seen them kind of consistently decline. And it is sad because I love Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Like, it's crazy. I love the AFC North teams. And I'm a Steelers fan. I love the Bengals. Actually, I told my wife, she was asking me, like, if there's any football jersey you would want for Christmas, who would it be? I was like, that's pretty tough. Probably Jamar Chase. Like, I love Jamar Chase. He's my favorite player in the NFL. And not a Steelers guy.
Dang, dude. Yeah, that's bad, man. I'm judging you right now.
You're judging? Oh,
I'm judging you, man. I would never be caught dead in any other AFC West team memorabilia.
Dude, I'm going to send you a Patrick Mahomes jersey to your house.
Dude, I will light that shit on fire. Dude, my wife,
just send it back.
Literally, my wife and I's first date, it was way back in the day, like 2012. I think it was when the Patriots were playing the Giants in the Super Bowl. And, the game was going on, and we're just driving around. And she's just telling me how much she loves Tom Brady. And, I'm young, I'm in love. I'm like, okay, like whatever. I don't care that she likes Tom Brady, but she literally told me on our first date, she loves Tom Brady. And like now that we've been together and she knows how big of a Bronco fan I am. And I'm like one of the biggest Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady haters out there.
Yeah.
Every time she gets mad or sees me watching football, getting worked up about it, she's like, you know what? I'm going to order my Tom Brady jersey now. And I just threaten her. I'm like, if I see that in my house, I'm putting it right in the dumpster. Yeah,
that's right. We're finished. Man. Yeah, I don't know if my wife, when I was dating her, if she said she loved Tom Brady, I don't know if we would have been consistently together. That would have been a hard one. But yeah, so that's that game. Let's move on. We got a couple more games to hit before this Sunday night game hits. So talk briefly about the Seahawks-Falcons game. Not a whole lot to talk about, just a complete, breakdown for the Falcons. They have just completely self-destructed. Man, I don't know what to say about the Falcons, but the Seahawks are continuing to roll. I love the Seahawks. What do you got from this game?
Yeah, no, I mean, Seahawks back on track after that loss to the Rams. Was it last week or the week before? So they're right where they need to be. I don't see Sam Darnold throwing 4 picks again. So whenever they play the Rams again, I think it's going to be a good game. So I think that division's still up in the air between the Rams and Seahawks. Also, the number 1 seed in the NFC, I think, is between them, right? At least as it stands now. So Seahawks have a lot to play for right now. For the Falcons, it really sucks to see prime years of Robinson and London being wasted. Dude. And you think of players like Saquon or players like, I don't know, like even OBJ back in the day, like when they're in their prime and they're being wasted on bad teams, like it just sucks because you know how good they are and you know how much they could shine if they had, decent support around them. So, another wasted season for those guys sucks. I know Falcons fans are, calling for Raheem's head right now. So probably a complete coaching overhaul at the end of the season, if not before then. So,
I totally agree with it. I've said this a couple of times, but I somehow have found myself on Atlanta Falcons Instagram. So like all my reels are like Falcons fans reacting to the games.
Right.
And they're just so mad. One of the things they talk about, they're like, why is Raheem Morris always looking at the Jumbotron? And there's videos like highlights where you see players walking off the field onto the sidelines. And then you just see Raheem like out in the distant.
You know what? I actually do. Like I have noticed that. Like I see every little picture or thumbnail of him is just him looking
always
up
looking
up.
It's so funny. But yeah, I mean, it's just bad for the Falcons because they really they went all in on the draft this year to get edge rush help, which they desperately needed edge rush help. They hadn't had a good edge rusher since like Deion Jones. So they couldn't pressure quarterbacks. So they go and double down and get 2 guys in the first round. However, their quarterback still sucks. Cousins has come in. He sucks. No offense to either of these guys, but like they're just not playing at a good level right now. Right. Drake London gets hurt. The entire offense feels like anemic. Bijan Robinson is probably the best talent at running back in the NFL outside of Gibbs. Like him and Gibbs are probably the 2 best running backs in the NFL. And like they're just not using him to his like strengths, In this game, he's got 2 receptions. Like he's a guy that you get him out in space, like all year this year. His longest touchdown's like an 80-yard run, but it was on a screen pass where he gets out in space and makes guys miss.
Yeah, he's a CMC Gibbs type guy where you need to get him the ball like 30 times a game, passing or running the ball. Like he's the best playmaker you have on your team. He's one of the best playmakers in the league. Get the ball in that dude's hands. If not, like you're going to score 0 points.
Yeah. So it's just frustrating.
Is this like the third time they've been shut out this year? That's embarrassing.
Yeah. It's to be fair, the Seahawks defense is legit. Like they are very, very good. But still, like this is supposedly a high-powered offense with like amazing skill players. I did hate that call. But yeah, Kyle Pitts played great today. He played great last week. I still think Kyle Pitts is a good player. He's just not as dominant as people thought. I know. I fall for it too every year. My wife has a saying, Pitts is the Pitts. And so now whenever I go to draft him, I'm like, oh yeah, she said that. Cousins did throw a dot to Darnell Mooney, but they said he'd stepped out of bounds and didn't reestablish himself. But that was a great throw. But yeah, nothing really good for the Falcons on this one. But on the Seahawks side, I think the story just remains JSN, probably one of the best receivers in the league right now.
Oh yeah.
He was getting locked up early on by AJ Terrell, who is a great corner, and still somehow finds a way to, put up 7 catches, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's a baller.
Yeah, another great day at the office for that dude. Still number 1 in receiving yards in the NFL, I believe.
Yeah.
Great team, man. Great offense, great defense. Like they have a complete team, and they're definitely like a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. All right, let's move on to another Super Bowl contender. This was in the 4 o'clock or the 2 o'clock games for you. So Rams take on the Cards in Arizona and do exactly what we expected them to do. Wax them 45-17. Rams just scoring at will. Really interestingly enough, looking at this, Blake Corum outrushed Kyron Williams in this one. He did have like a 48-yard run, but this offense is clicking. And I don't know. I love the Rams. I think the Rams are probably the best team in the NFL right now. I don't know how you feel about that, Jose.
Yeah, no, I've watched a lot of the Rams games this year, and their offense, they have all the tools that you need to win games. I mean, you have a MVP type quarterback. You have great running backs. The receiving core is insane. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, 2 all-pro guys. Like, they're unstoppable, man, on offense when they're clicking and putting everything together. And, you know, to even enhance that further, got Sean McVay calling the plays and designing things, drawing everything up like one of the league's best coaches. So their offense has it clicking. Their pass rush is killer. Defense is solid. A lot to love about this Rams team. So really, really think they have what it takes to put it together, but it's going to probably come down to who gets that number 1 seed, who can get those home games throughout the playoffs, and who can actually, you know, put it all together when it matters most.
Absolutely.
And clutch quarterback too. I mean, dude with heart, dude with guts. He'll win you some games when it matters. So
the next 2 weeks are going to be big for the Rams. They got the Lions next week, which I don't think is that hard, but it is still like a difficult matchup.
Not a toss up.
Yeah, it's not an easy one. Seahawks would be the week after. That one's going to be on Thursday night, and that's in Seattle. So that's going to be the big one because both Seattle and Los Angeles are tied at the top of the division right now. Obviously, the Rams own the tiebreaker from the first victory against the Seahawks, but big games coming up for the Rams. Good to see them just kind of come in and take care of business. I mean, everybody ate on the offense. Corum, Williams, Puka.
Everybody besides Adams today, man, who I had a touchdown parlay on. He's the only one that didn't score.
I was like, dude, he's got to score. Like, I mean, they're going to score a lot of points. He's the guy they go to in the red zone. Yeah.
You know, freaking Blake Corum still in those red zone touches. Oh, wait, no, one was a 48-yard run. So, but no, I mean, I can't believe he didn't score, man. Still leads the league in reception touchdowns, I believe. So, crazy season for him to be having at this point in his career.
Will be. If he finishes the season leading the league in receiving touchdowns, he will be the first player to ever do that on 3 separate teams. He's done
That's
it
crazy.
With the Packers
as the number 2 receiver. That's crazy.
As the number 2 is wild. Smash that like button, says TDB. Everybody smash that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe. Like, come hang out with us. We're always here Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays. We love doing these shows. We love when people hang out with us and talk trash. You know, if you thought the Steelers didn't deserve to win that game today, come and talk to me. I'll hit you. I got you. Or if you think the Broncos are just squeaking by every week, you know, Jose's right here. Take them on.
Yeah, it looks like the Broncos still found a way to freaking barely win that game by 1 score at the end. I missed what happened, but 24-17, like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah. Well, before we get to that one, I just want to say one thing. Michael Wilson, dude. Like, what are we doing? This is insane. Michael Wilson had 11 catches, 142 yards, and 2 touchdowns today. Why did they draft Marvin Harrison when they had Calvin Johnson in the garage?
That's crazy.
Unbelievable.
Did he play at all? He's injured, huh?
Yeah, he was out. Marvin's hurt. Marvin just, man, such a sad fall from grace. And the other thing too is Kyler is shut down for the season, so he's done, and he might never put a Cardinals jersey on again.
Hey man, well, he has Call of Duty just dropped, so I'm sure he's gonna enjoy his time back at home.
It makes sense. The new Call of Duty looks like it sucks too, so I don't even know why he's doing that.
Dude,
he's gonna play Battlefield.
We're old, man. I remember Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2 back in the day. Those were fun. Can't get back into it though.
No, I did for a bit, but it's gotten too sweaty for me. So, all right, let's move on. We talked briefly. Broncos take on the Raiders. They win 24-17. They were pretty much ahead the whole game. I think they were up by like 2 scores up until the end. Yeah, I think big takeaway for me on this one is we finally get to see RJ Harvey play at like a RB1 level.
Oh yeah,
17 carries, 75 yards, a touchdown, and then added 6 receptions for 25 yards.
dude, and
This is
some of
what
those
Sean
receptions
Payton
were
wanted.
clutch
Yeah.
receptions on third down, breaking tackles to get to the sticks. So really impressed by RJ Harvey today. No crazy like explosive long plays. No, nothing that popped off the screen or that's going to be on the the highlights tonight. But just
Right.
consistent, solid plays, clutch moments. So really good to see him step up in that role a little bit more today.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I've been wanting to see all year. Obviously, I'm a big RJ Harvey guy. I was waiting for this, and honestly, like before this, he just hasn't looked that impressive. One of the big things I kept seeing was like his inability to break tackles or shake guys off. And then this game, I saw him do it multiple times, especially like you were talking about on some of those receptions in the first half. Shaking off guys and being able to get the first down to move the chains. That's a huge deal in the Sean Payton offense. Like
Exactly.
that will earn you more and more touches. More so than breaking like a 50-yard run,
No, exactly. I mean, like, especially with that offense where Bo Nix is pretty much looking for that first read and then hitting his check down if it's not there. I mean, like 6 catches on the day. Every single one was a check down. No real down the field design play for Harvey in the passing game today. But those check downs were huge because obviously avoiding the sack, avoiding a bad decision by Bo Nix, and then RJ Harvey just utilizing his skill set to make a play.
Yeah.
So really, really good stuff to see that, help the Broncos move the chains and continue to score throughout the game.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that they kept the ball so close to the line. So Bo Nix's line was 31 of 38. He threw the ball almost 40 times, which I think they had the ball for most of the game. So that's probably why that number's inflated. But for only 212 yards for like a 5.5 yard average, I think they've got so many playmakers. And maybe this is once again is Peyton just kind of holding things close to the chest and not trying to unveil all the stuff before the playoffs, especially against the Raiders.
Right.
But this Raiders defense is so bad. Like I could have seen them cooking them. I mean that they did throw that Hail Mary, and I definitely thought they were going to catch
that. Was close.
That was a great throw by Bo. Put it right where it needed to be.
But no, I mean, if I was a Raiders fan, I would be pissed because the Sean Payton is so petty, bro. He it seemed like he did not give a rat's behind about today's game. Like he was on the sideline, like absolute zero emotion for like good plays or bad plays. He was just like, all right, I'm just here to collect my paycheck and beat the Raiders and go back home. Like
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, seriously. Like you can kind of tell. I mean, the play calling, absolutely awesome. The last couple of games, like the offense is starting to find its rhythm. But I mean, you can tell like once the game is in hand, he kind of shuts things down for sure. Like I noticed this in the first Raider game on Thursday night. And then today too against the Raiders. Like once the game was in hand, he kind of brought it back to a vanilla offense, more ground and pound, check downs. And you can tell he's just saving all this good stuff for later on throughout the season. And then, even on touchdowns, he was not celebrating at all. Bad plays, he was just like, okay, whatever. And usually he's a fiery guy on the sideline. So if I was a Raiders fan, I'd be like, dude, these guys don't respect us one bit.
Yeah, no. Yeah, man, Raiders franchise, man, just feels sad to me. I just think it's all a mess, especially after like firing Chip Kelly and all that stuff coming out about Pete Carroll and his sons being on the coaching staff and them having more duty in the play calling realm and just all that stuff, man.
Bad vibes.
And Tom Brady owning the team, like, or being minority owner and like expecting him to have more play in this. And he was the one who helped seek out like Chip Kelly, and Chip Kelly, was a bust, like one and done, didn't even make the full season.
Dude doesn't know ball, man. Tom Brady.
He doesn't.
Has no idea how to bring on a staff. No idea what to look for an offensive coordinator. Dude is a system quarterback all those years. So I mean,
dude,
it makes sense that he just brings in some college offensive coordinator and absolutely tanks the Raiders season. So thanks, Brady.
Yeah, Brady just an absolute bum. Not a good NFL quarterback. Big Ben would have cooked in that Patriots offense.
Oh, dude.
Brock Osweiler.
Dude, Brock was the man. Super Bowl 50 doesn't go to Denver if it wasn't for Brock Osweiler. I love that dude.
That's right. That Brock is the man.
But dude, I came across a TikTok edit of Ben Roethlisberger the other day. Yeah. Oh, dude, that was straight fire. Dude was so good. I forgot how good he was.
He was so good, man.
Those last
he really was.
His career kind of like are all I remember. But like looking back at those old like early 2000 seasons with that dude. Oh, dude, shaking off tacklers in the backfield.
Dude,
this laser arm, touchdowns, big plays.
I just love Big Ben. It's crazy. I can't find anywhere where I can buy one of those jerseys. I told my wife that would be the jersey I'd want from the Steelers. Like, I love Big Ben, like childhood hero.
Mm-hmm.
I sat there and watched Tommy Maddox for like a couple years with Cordell Stewart. I did love Cordell. And then when they drafted Ben, obviously had no idea. I thought we were going to get Phillip Rivers. And then that whole, thing went down. And then we got Big Ben. Didn't know anything about him. Obviously, I was also a child, so I didn't have access to like the internet like that, and I wasn't that interested. But man, watching him take us to the Super Bowl in year 2, watching him give us a 15-1 season that first year, his rookie year, he beat the undefeated Patriots. They beat the undefeated Eagles. Both the teams that went to the Super Bowl, they beat them, and then they sputtered in the playoffs. But then year 2, he comes in, wins the Super Bowl,
beat the Broncos that year in the AFC Championship game. I think in Denver. I remember that game when I was a little kid.
Yeah, Snake. Yep, that was a big one for me. I remember being like, "Oh man, the Colts one was the best one, beating Peyton and going up like 21-0, and then them missing the field goal to tie it."
And then was that Roethlisberger with the game-winning tackle after the bus fumble?
Tackle.
That was awesome, man.
I thought about that today when Burrow threw that pick, and then he had to try to make a tackle, and he didn't make the tackle. I was like, Ben would never allow that.
Ben was a big dude, though, man.
Yeah, he was a beast. But yeah, not much to talk about here on the Broncos. They just came in and handled their business. Yeah. Raiders are probably the worst team in the NFL. And they brought out Kenny Pickett today, and they're just kind of, I think they're mailing it in at this point.
Got some stats on the board late, but.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty boring game.
Last game that happened today, this was a big one. Packers-Bears. Bears travel to Green Bay, take on the Packers. Packers win 28-21. Packers are now solely at the top of the division in the NFC. What is that? NFC North. So Packers are now the 2 seed in the NFC. What did you take away from this game?
I mean, Packers are real. I mean, coming into this game, I thought the Bears had a real chance to pull off the upset, especially how they've been playing these last couple of weeks. But at the end of the day, I think today's game just kind of showed the limitations of Caleb Williams and what that offense is capable of when they're not running the balls efficiently. And also, how complete the Packers are. Offense did what they had to do to win the game, and then defense made a big stop in the end with the pick to seal the deal. So, good coaching staff, well-coached team, quarterbacks playing well, running backs playing well, defense solid. So that they're starting to peak at the right time.
Yeah, they're definitely peaking. I think Christian Watson coming back, he's been a huge addition to this team. 2 touchdowns in this one. He's helping that offense actually be efficient and scoring touchdowns instead of just kicking field goals, which is a big deal. Notably, the rookie Matthew Golden had 0 targets or 1 target and 0 catches on this game. The first round receiver they said was going to be their wide receiver 1. This team's just not ever going to be built to have a wide receiver 1. What a wasted draft pick that was on Matthew Golden. But yeah, they're just playing smart football. On the Bears side, this was, to me, always the concern about the Bears is that they've been winning these last few games solely off the back of the run game. And they were going to come into, the wintertime, and they're going to need to run. But if they can't run, can they trust Caleb Williams? And I think we got our answer today. He's just wildly inaccurate. He throws that pick at the end. I won't say he played like terrible, because this is a very good Packers defense as well. And they were without Rome Odunze. But, it just Caleb Williams has been struggling pretty much all year. And I'm not sure how I feel about him moving forward.
Well, not everybody can be Bo Nix, man. Not everybody has that clutch gene. So
that's right.
I mean, that's kind of one of the things that, I mean, we're a little bit older. We've seen like the Brady, the Mannings, the Roethlisbergers.
Yeah.
When the game's on the line and you have the ball last, like you expect your quarterback to lead you to
Yep.
victory. Even early
Yep.
in their careers, they had that it factor where you believed in them and you had the trust that they could figure it out. Like I'm seeing that now with Bo Nix after, a decade of bad quarterback play. Like you can, when we have the ball in the last possession, like I still have confidence we can pull it off.
Yeah.
Not like wishful thinking, but true confidence. That's something that, not a lot of quarterbacks have these days. And you can feel it even with the Bears fandom. Like they're not too sure what the hell's going to happen with the ball in Caleb Williams' hands. Like they're not, they don't trust him enough.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you. Like, I think Trey and I talked about the Broncos game a couple of weeks ago. I brought that up. Was one of the things I was very impressed about Bo Nix on. Real quick, Troy's here. What up, Troy? How you doing, buddy? Giants are on a bye week this week, so Troy's enjoying the week off. So they are on bye week, right? They don't play tomorrow.
Oh, did they play on Thursday?
Did they play? No. That was Cowboys Lions. Yeah, they're on bye week. But yeah, so I was mentioning that Bo Nix just does have like that ability to be cool, calm, and collected at the end of the game and be able to run the offense and march the team down the field. And we've seen that this year hit massively because they've won all these really close games. And that is a huge victory. I mean, you could say whatever you want. Like if you still are winning, like even if you're winning close games against bad teams, as long as you're winning, your record is your record. Like it proves that you're a pretty good team. And when Big Ben was playing, like there was never a time when we didn't get the ball with 2 minutes left that I was like, oh, we can't do this. I always felt like
we got this.
We had a really good chance. And, sometimes it didn't hit. A lot of times it did. But yeah, when Caleb has the ball, like I don't trust him. Like, I watch him play and I just don't feel like he sees the field well. He is an athletic specimen. The man has a rifle for an arm. He's able to get out of the pocket, but I don't trust him to throw the ball very well close to the end of the game. Especially
he relies on his athleticism so much, and his game is so much off the cuff and off script. And when he was in college, like when you're just a better athlete than everybody else, and you have better athletes, at receiver than anybody else, like it makes it so much easier. And then when the playing field's a little bit more equal in the NFL, like, damn, you don't have that edge anymore. So I think you can kind of see the panic in his game where it's like, where do I go with the ball? Or, maybe a little bit of an overconfidence or over-reliance on his athleticism where he thinks he can squeeze a ball in where there's no room for it. So, I have hope that he'll figure it out, especially with Ben Johnson coaching him.
Yeah.
Really love his coaching style. Really love how he has his team, rallied up to play these big games and, complete 180 from where they were at this point last season. So I still think, they're on the right track, but Caleb Williams definitely has to improve if the Bears want to get to where they want to be.
Yep. Yeah. And if you just looked at the box score and didn't see the actual score of the game, the final score of the game, you would think the Packers demolished the Bears. But Bears only lose by a touchdown. They had a chance to tie it at the end of the game, throw that pick with 20 seconds left. Ben Johnson is coaching his butt off. Like I'm just thoroughly impressed by this coaching staff. They were always, still in a rebuild. Like they were still not there yet. And this is year one. So there's a lot of hope still there for Bears fans. I just think it's a little early.
He's given them that edge, that attitude, that toughness that they were missing the last couple of years.
Absolutely.
And what? It kind of almost seems like the Lions are missing that too. Like, Ben Johnson, I feel like was playing a lot bigger role on that team than we all thought. So
100%.
I think Bears have a bright future going forward. Just got to help Caleb Williams figure it out, and they'll be good.
We need to see Caleb Williams begin to improve. He's got all the tools to be able to do it, but he's got to lean into his coaching staff. All right. So that's all the games that have been played so far. We got a game tonight, a game tomorrow night. We'll briefly cover both of these because these are pretty big games. First one is tonight's game. We've got the Texans traveling to Arrowhead in Kansas City to play the Chiefs. Texans are 7-5. Chiefs are 6-6. And this game, like literally, this is a huge game because with the Colts losing today, they're now the 7 seed in the playoffs. They're 8-5. They're a team that is likely to be bounced out of the playoffs. Texans are knocking at the door at 8, but the Chiefs are right there at 9. So, if the Chiefs were to beat the Texans, they'd be the ones knocking on the door. The playoffs are right there for them. So this is a huge game. But yeah, what do you think of immediately with this game? Like, what are your thoughts heading into this one?
Yeah, really. So the first thing that comes to mind and the key matchup of this game, in my opinion, is the Chiefs offensive line versus the Houston Texans pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
Second best pass rush in the NFL behind the Denver Broncos. Second in sacks behind the Broncos, but also that line for the Chiefs is just awful. Plus they have additional injuries from last week that, more people are going to be missing from that team and that protection scheme. So I think the Texans pass rush is going to have an absolute field day today. Not to say that Mahomes won't find a way to, get points on the board and make plays,
right?
But I think he's just going to be under pressure from the very first snap of the game to the very last. And also for the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career, sitting at 500 at this point in the season is kind of crazy. I know my fellow Chief haters are, excited about tonight. And if the Houston Texans can pull off this victory, then I think next week when the Broncos beat the week after next, when the Broncos beat the Chiefs on Christmas Day, that we can put the final nail in the Chiefs season and completely eliminate them from the playoffs.
What a Christmas present that would be.
That would be absolutely
awesome. Yeah. So like you said, I mean, this is a huge matchup. And I think that's the biggest key to this game. This Texans defense just sacked Josh Allen. Josh Allen, who does not take many sacks.
Mm-hmm.
He sacked him 8 times, technically 9. One of them.
Those were scrimmage. Yeah, those were so bad, man. QB stat once again, but I remember just watching, like, dude, get rid of the ball. And he was just running around in the backfield, getting deeper and deeper and deeper, like taking 20-yard sacks. It was crazy.
And the best thing about this Houston defense is not just the pass rush, but the secondary they have backing it up.
Yeah.
Derek Stingley's playing at a great level right now. Kamari Lassiter is playing really well. Everybody's playing really well. They're a very inspired defense. So I definitely think the Chiefs, especially with their offensive struggles, running the ball, this is going to be a tall task for them. They can't abandon the run early. They need to be continually pushing into running the ball. But most likely, Rashee Rice is going to be one-on-one with Derek Stingley. They need a big game from Xavier Worthy, I would say. They need him to step up. He's been really poor this season. And then on the Texans side, as good as their defense is, CJ Stroud has greatly struggled. He sat out for 3-4 weeks. Honestly, Davis Mills came in and played fantastic. They were winning games. They're on a little bit of a win streak right now. I think they've won like 4 or 5 out of their last 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, and 3 of those are Davis Mills starts.
Yeah, so. And 3 of those were Davis Mills starts. So Stroud is going to have to step up because just because the defense – is able to slow down the Chiefs doesn't mean they're going to be able to stop them from scoring points. This Texans offense is going to have to score points, and the Chiefs defense, especially in the colder weather, they tend to step up, and they're at home. Chiefs are 5-1 at home.
Yep.
So that's a big stat. But anyway, what do you think is going to be the final score of this game, and who do you think is winning?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a low scoring game, but I think it's going to be a fun, competitive game the entire time. I'm thinking 20-13 on this game. No, actually, I think it's going to be about a 4-point game. I go 16-20.
16-20. Yep, I was pretty much thinking the exact same thing. Are you taking the Chiefs or the Texans? Texans. All right, I'll go Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will be able to score enough points to put them ahead, and I think their defense is going to have a big day against Stroud and this struggling Texans offense. But yeah, big game here. Tomorrow night's game is also a big game. We've got the Philly Eagles taking on the Chargers in LA. Another division team for you. Yep. They're 8-4 on the season. Can't believe it. Chargers do get Omarion Hampton back. Chargers are also 5-2 at home this year. Philly just coming off of this brutal beatdown they took by the Bears. And so, yeah, this game has a lot of implications too. You know, looking at the standings, Chargers are sitting at the 6th spot. This is how tight the AFC is. They're only 1 game ahead of the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
They're another team that could likely be bounced. You know, if they can't step it up, and their offensive and defensive line are banged up. On the Eagles side, Eagles are sitting at 3rd. You know, I think they're pretty safe in their division. I think the Cowboys are the only team that poses a threat. Cowboys are 2 games back, but if they lose this game, then the Cowboys are only 1 game back, surprisingly enough. Well, 1.5 since they have the tie, but I don't know. What's your initial thoughts heading into this game?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty close game. I think both teams are struggling with injuries up front on offense and defense. I know you talked about the Chargers injuries on offensive and defensive line. Eagles also are missing Jalen Carter due to a shoulder injury. Lane Johnson's out with a foot injury on offensive line for the Eagles. So makes it really hard to do or stick to their bread and butter for the Eagles. Like stuff in the run and just getting after the passer is, you know, Jalen Carter is one of the best defensive tackles in the league. So without him, there's definitely going to be opportunity to run the ball. That's if the Chargers can, you know, open up some lanes for Hampton, because Hampton's another explosive player coming back in the backfield that's going to give the Chargers a little bit more juice on offense. But as far as protecting Herbert, they've kind of struggled all year long. And now with, was it their left tackle who's out for the rest of the season, I believe? Joe Alt. Like, I have a hard time seeing the Chargers making a deep run into the playoffs if they even make it without Joe Alt on that line. So I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Eagles have the play style that suits them a little bit better to win a game like this with all the injuries. Just, you know, slow game control, ball control game where they're, you know, taking up 8-10 minutes out of a quarter and, you know, scoring a tush push touchdown to cap off every quarter. So I don't know if the Chargers are built to keep up with that.
Yeah. I mean, they'll probably gain like 5 yards per tush push with all the injuries on this D line.
Seriously.
But yeah, I mean, this is a really injured Chargers team. They feel, to me, the Chargers feel like the Steelers, but a better version of the Steelers, where they're a better team, but they lose games they shouldn't and win games they shouldn't. So it's hard to predict how they're going to play. I think Herbert is fantastic. I think it does help them a lot getting Omarion Hampton back, but we've already talked about this O-line. I mean, it's a, you know, really banged up O-line. So don't know how much of an impact that Omarion Hampton's going to be able to bring if they can't block for him. I think this game's really going to land on Herbert, who also has that left hand injury, his fractured left hand. So yeah, I mean, this is a tough one to say the Chargers would win. Eagles are, you know, coming off of a loss. They're probably pretty amped to win this game. And I think the NFC has been stronger overall than the AFC. Hurts, you know, he's an up and down quarterback, but like you said, I think they're built for winning games like these. So I'm also going to say the Eagles are going to win this one. But Hurts is going to have to play a pretty good game because Saquon's not really playing well. I don't see that changing, but so much in this game. And he's going to have to throw the ball. I expect Dallas Goedert to probably have a big game in this one. But yeah, I will go 21-17 Eagles in this one. What do you got?
I think I like 21-20 Eagles.
Yeah. 21-20 feels pretty good. So cool. All right. Well, that's all the week 14 action we've got. So is there any parting words you want to share with the people before we head off for tonight?
Yes. God bless Bo Nix.
God bless Bo Nix. And God, please be with the Steelers as they make decisions moving into their future. Give them wisdom, Lord. We're going to need it.
Aaron Rodgers' old ass already has enough wisdom for everybody. So
that's right.
I think they'll be all right.
He's on the stuff, man. He knows. He's already seen it. He's already lived this lifetime. So, all right. Well, cool. Jose, thanks for joining me, man. To all of you out there, we really appreciate you being here. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the videos, share it with your friends and family and any of the other people you want to share it with. You can also follow us over there on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We're active on all 3 of those. And if you don't get time to listen to the stream, well, that's okay. You can listen to us on podcast on your way into work, your way home from work, or anywhere in between. Anywhere podcasts are streamed, just look up Fan Feed Network. With that, Jose, we will see you next time. Everybody, we will see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your week 14. May your bets be prosperous and may your fantasy teams live long. We will see you next time.
Night.
Ladies, we did the research for you. Fellas, pay attention. We've partnered up with Bonheure Jewelry. Bonheure is a celebrity favorite, eco-friendly jewelry company based in New York City. They're adored by stars such as Emma Watson, Gal Gadot, Katy Perry, Kim Kardashian, Kendall Jenner, and Hailey Bieber. Their designs have been featured in top publications including Vogue, Elle, V Magazine, and on major platforms. We love them. They have great pricing for luxury jewelry. It's something that you can start planning for before the holidays get here and get it early. Click on the link in our show notes below. You can sign up for 15% off your first order. When you support our partners, you support FanFeed Network. Check them out.